Good Wednesday evening to you, everybody. This is Scott Baker, and I'm here to bring you another Wednesday night devotional. Tonight, we're going to be talking about not sweating the small stuff. Not sweating the small stuff. So, my devotional tonight comes from a conversation I overheard at Walmart the other day. And yes, before you ask, I am one of those brave souls who has to venture out to the grocery store for my family. But you can be rest assured that I was wearing my mask and I was practicing social distancing. In line in front of me at Walmart, two young girls, probably 13 or 14, were having a heated debate over an interesting topic. They were trying to decide whether or not Adam and Eve had belly buttons. Now, I had to hold back a chuckle as I listened because I had had this very debate with my own friends many years ago, probably around the time I was their age. But the more I started thinking about it, and the more I listened to the conversation, the more it made me start thinking about the number of people I've talked to over the years myself who refused to come to church or even listen to my beliefs because of a question I couldn't answer about the Bible. Now let me explain that. I consider myself somewhat well versed in the Bible, but there are definitely questions that I can't answer. For example, speaking of Adam and Eve, I don't personally believe they had belly buttons, but that's just my belief. Neither of them were born in the traditional way of a woman, therefore I assume that would mean they didn't have the physical reminder of an umbilical cord. But the Bible never discusses that, so I can't say for certain either way. Another question I've been asked is if the Bible is real, then where's the Garden of Eden? Well, I have no idea. I assume, and yes, I'm using that word a lot, that when the garden was on earth, it was over in the Middle East. But I'm not convinced it's on earth anymore. Or if it is, God is keeping us from seeing it. As far as I know, the Bible never mentions the garden much after the book of Genesis. Still, another question I've been asked is, if the Bible is real, what happened to the Ark of the Covenant? Again, I have no clue. It could be buried under my house for all I know. The Bible doesn't mention much about it after the Babylonians sacked Jerusalem. And finally, a more offbeat question I've been asked that pertains to the Bible is, if God is real, what will he do to the Native American Indians who died before Columbus discovered America? What will happen to their souls since they probably never heard God's message? Again, I'm not sure, but I assume, and there's that word again, assume, that God will judge them based on who they were and how they lived. So as you can see, there are things I don't know and therefore cannot answer about the Bible. But what I've said in the past about these things is what I'll say to you now. The answer to these questions don't matter. Yes, they're fun to discuss, and yes, it's fun to offer conjecture, but the bottom line is they don't matter to your faith. If you're getting hung up on whether or not God is real because of some unanswered questions, then let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you know how your cell phone works? Can you explain it to me? Can you take it apart and reassemble it? Wait, you can't? But the phone still works, right? Even though you don't understand it? This might not be the best example because I'm sure there are obviously people out there who technically know everything that way. So let me put it to you another way. Can you tell me how human beings create ideas? How the mind can generate abstract concepts from nothing? Or why human beings can write poems and symphonies but animals cannot? These are things you might not understand fully, but you believe in them, right? What's the difference between believing in them and believing in God? We even have a manual from God, which is the Bible, but we don't even have a manual for our brains. So what makes the difference? Do you see where I'm going here? Too many people get caught up on the small details and they lose sight of the big picture. But God is real, and we know he's real because we exist. Plain and simple. No simpler than that. Even science will tell you the odds of mankind emerging as the top species on the planet due to evolution are astronomical. Do you really think that's what happened? That just some fluke thing caused mankind to evolve? No, of course not. The Bible offers us all of the answers and all of the details that we need to survive to live a fulfilling life. There are mysteries in there, sure, and I'll be the first one to try to, write stories about them and bring them forward. But nothing will change my faith or my beliefs. I know that my questions will be answered one day. I know the one and true God, and I know He's working in my life today. All the answers will be given to us one day. All of the questions about the Bible will be given to us. We all sweat the small stuff from time to time, but the key is not to get caught up in it. If we make the small stuff our focus, then the big stuff slips away from us. And the big stuff is important. God should be our focus. When He is, everything else falls into place, and all the questions slip away. This has been another Wednesday night devotional. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much.